Early in the morning at the small retirement home in the suburbs, soft sunlight filtered through the trees. It fell gently on the old brick walkway. Mrs. Doris sat in her usual wooden chair, holding a steaming cup of tea. Her eyes gazed toward the garden's end, where pots of chrysanthemums had just begun to bloom. Beside her was Mr. Miguel, always the earliest riser. He wore his worn cloth hat slightly tilted. His jacket was crooked from rushing out to check the weather. He wanted to plan his watering for the day. Then there was Mrs. Ruth, with silver hair and a graceful figure. Lately she had slowed down noticeably. Each step seemed like she was carefully studying the ground beneath her. Her movements carried a quiet caution. 3 people, 3 different gaits, but one shared truth. Each carried a quiet hesitation when stepping beyond the porch. They paused as if unsure of their footing. The porch seemed a boundary they approached with care. "Maybe it's just old age," Doris said softly, lifting her teacup. She smiled gently, her words barely a whisper. Miguel nodded, still gazing toward the vegetable patch. "Or maybe it's these knees acting up again," he replied. "Sometimes it's the shoes," a young nurse chimed in nearby. She was watering the flowers as she spoke. "Many seniors don't notice, but wearing the wrong shoes can weaken your body day by day." Her words hung in the morning air, light and easy. The 3 paused, her words sinking in. They looked down at their own feet. Their slippers and worn shoes had been chosen out of habit. Years had passed without much thought to what they wore. From that moment, a quiet journey began. It was not a grand one. It was the simple journey of older adults reclaiming steadiness in every step, and its starting point was right beneath their feet. Part 2. Mrs. Doris and the worn slippers. She loved for 20 years. Mrs. Doris is now 79 years old. Since her husband passed, she has lived alone. Later, she moved into the retirement home for company and daily care. Life here is comfortable, but she holds on to old habits. She brews her tea each morning with care. She folds napkins into perfect squares. And she walks around the house in soft plastic slippers she has had for over 20 years. "I only wear them around the room," she'd say, when someone suggested a change. "They're light, soft, and my feet are used to them." The slippers were indeed familiar, but that familiarity led to 3 weeks in bed after an ordinary night. That evening, Mrs. Doris got up for a glass of water. The nightlight was dim, casting faint shadows. The tile floor was slightly damp from the cool air outside. With one step, the backless slipper slid out from under her. She fell backwards, her back hitting the wooden cabinet. No bones were broken, but her hip was badly bruised. "I remember that feeling so clearly," she said, her voice low. "I didn't trip on anything. It was just the slipper had no grip." Her foot had slipped out, leaving her no control. The next morning, a nurse checked her slippers. The soles were completely worn smooth, with almost no traction left. The rubber under the heel was soft and limp, offering no support. Feet lose natural padding with age, especially after 60. The fat cushion beneath the soles begins to thin. Every step becomes harder, less able to absorb shock. Many older adults feel foot pain even walking short distances indoors. If shoes don't fit, well, don't support, or don't grip, the risk of falling grows dangerously high. "I thought it was just my legs getting weaker," Doris said with a quiet smile. "Turns out even slippers age too." The nurse helped her find a new pair of shoes. They were light, with back straps, soft soles, and anti-slip bottoms. Each morning she puts them on like a small ritual. She no longer hesitates to stand up and pour tea. Now Doris sits on the porch to enjoy the sun. She takes gentle walks around the courtyard. Just a pair of shoes changed everything. They were a ticket back to the routines she cherished, nearly lost because of old slippers. Part 3. Mr. Miguel and the shoes that were still fine. Mr. Miguel is now 74 years old. He is a small man with silver hair and bright eyes that always seem to sparkle. He used to be a carpenter, skilled with his hands. Even now, in the retirement home, he asked for a small corner to grow rows of herbs. "I'm not used to sitting still," he often says with a smile, brushing soil from his hands. "I need to sweat a little every day to feel alive." Each morning people see him busy in the garden. He snips mint leaves with his shears, humming old Spanish tunes. But something has been worrying everyone. Lately, he walks more slowly. Sometimes he rubs his knee and rests longer than before. When asked, he shakes his head and says, "Probably just stiff joints. Comes with age." One day, a nurse noticed his shoes. He had worn the same gray sneakers for 3 years. From the outside, they looked clean with no tears or peeling soles. "They're still good," he said, insisting they were sturdy and comfortable. He wore them everywhere for gardening, church, and park walks, but inside the padding was completely worn down. The midsole, meant to absorb a shock, had flattened like cardboard. When the nurse twisted the shoe, it folded like a wet towel. She explained gently, "Everyday sneakers should only be used for 6 to 8 months. Even if they look fine, the cushioning wears out first. The shoe might look new, but it's already aged," she said. Mr. Miguel looked stunned, his frugal carpenter habits challenged. All those years he lived by the motto, "If it still works, keep it." But this habit was quietly wearing down his knees. The following week, he received new shoes with thicker soles and proper arch support. They felt unfamiliar at first, but within 2 weeks, his knee pain was gone. "It's like saws and chisels," he said with a chuckle. "You can sharpen old tools, but once they're too dull, replace them. Shoes are no different. Once they've passed their lifespan, they stop protecting us and slowly wear us down." Part 4. 2 small changes that can transform your golden years. After hearing the stories of Mrs. Doris and Mr. Miguel, a young nurse named Lucy decided to act. She had long observed the seniors in the home. She chose to host a small talk about shoes. It wasn't about fashion or fancy brands. It was a thoughtful guide for those over 60. "I know many of you don't want to change your shoes," Lucy said sincerely, "but your feet have changed over the years, even if you haven't noticed." Her words made many in the room nod in agreement. Principle 1. Check your shoes every 6 months. Shoes are like your joints, looking fine outside but worn inside. Hold the shoe and twist it gently from toe to heel. If it bends like a rag, the internal support is gone. Next, press the heel to check for bounce. If there is no bounce, the shock absorption is gone. Each step sends impact to your knees and spine. Mrs. Doris tested her old slippers, and the soles were paper-thin and limp. "I really thought it was just my legs getting weaker," she sighed. Principle 2. Use semi-custom orthotics. These aren't cheap dollar store inserts or costly custom ones. They're heat-moldable insoles shaped to your foot after warming in an oven. Mr. Miguel tried a pair with his new shoes. "It's strange," he said. "They fit like the wooden chairs I used to make. No slipping, no squeezing." These insoles support the arch, which collapses with age. They reduce pressure on soles, knees, and hips. For those with diabetes or nerve pain, they help prevent serious injuries. They cost just a few dozen dollars at medical shoe stores. After the session, the mood in the home shifted. People began noticing each other's shoes. Some joked, "If your feet feel good, your heart's probably still in great shape." Old age doesn't need grand gestures. Sometimes a step that no longer hurts is enough. It makes the entire day feel softer. 2 small changes transformed their golden years. Part 5. The return of steady steps. It was a late afternoon, and sunlight stretched across the stone path in the nursing home's garden. Mr. Miguel had just finished picking mint. He carried a basket of fragrant herbs and walked steadily. His knees no longer ached as they once did. Mrs. Doris sat under the shade of a tree. She slipped on her new beige shoes with back straps, soft soles, and slip-resistant grip. Then she stood up and walked slowly toward the dining hall. Her steps were calm and assured. Mrs. Ruth, often quiet in the background, had changed her tight party shoes. She now wore a pair that felt light and soft, like walking on grass. "It doesn't hurt to stand anymore," she whispered to herself. Her movements carried a newfound ease. They were not young again, nor did they move as fast as younger folks. But their eyes no longer hesitated when it was time to stand. Their steps had shed the caution they once carried. The right pair of shoes or insoles made this possible. Not everyone realizes the importance of proper footwear. You may not notice until the security in each step is lost. But it is never too late to start again from the ground up. Aging is not about sitting still and counting the days. It is about learning to walk again more steadily and gently. Caring for your feet is one of the last freedoms you protect in life. At Light of Wise Elders, we believe every step tells a story of wisdom. Mrs. Doris, Mr. Miguel, and Mrs. Ruth found steadiness with small changes. You can too by caring for your feet and sharing their journey. Subscribe to our channel to join their story. Don't let age slow your spirit. Our videos share tips and stories to keep you moving confidently. Like our videos to spread this wisdom. Share them with friends to inspire others. Your support helps us grow this community. Every like and share makes a difference. Subscribe to Light of Wise Elders today. Let's walk steadily into our golden years together.